Your video can be improved a lot simply by how you compose your shot. If you're gonna be doing a video where you're talking to the camera, I want you to follow a rule called the rule of thirds. If you mentally break your frame down into thirds, horizontally, vertically, you're gonna break this down and imagine like there's a box, and so you got these lines broken down into thirds. Well, your eyes should be on that top line. Now, if you're shooting an interview with somebody, and we're gonna cover interviews later on and how to do that exactly, but you wanna make sure that not only do you follow the rule of thirds, but it's best if you have their eyes line up, the top line and your left line or your right line match up. That way, you'll be drawing even more attention to those intersecting lines. And these lines are important because that's where our eyes will naturally go. If you're not following the rule of thirds, if you've ever seen a picture that somebody took and they kind of like the heads are exactly in the middle of the frame and they have all this space at the top, and you look at the picture and like, oh, it's a good picture. If I could only cut it here and cut it here and cut it here, right? So if you're shooting video, the best thing to do is to stick to the rule of thirds. Now, there will be situations where you can break that. Now, besides the rule of thirds, it's important that you give your subject lead room. What's lead room? Well, for example, again, if we're shooting an interview scene,
I think through that spiritual direction, which really directed me more towards the sacraments,
I'm giving the subject 2/3 of the frame of space.
So
the back of his head is towards the back of the frame, and then I have all this space out in front of his face. Because if I don't give him that lead room and I have his nose at the edge of the frame, what's gonna happen is it's gonna make your audience feel anxious and uncomfortable. And if that's your goal, well then in that case, feel free to do that. Break the rules certain times to get a certain effect, basically. If you're filming a horror movie or a horror film, yeah, and you want to feel like your person is really cramped up in a really tight space, well yeah, have their nose coming to the edge of the frame, and it's gonna make your audience also feel a little bit anxious and have a sense of anxiety about what they're viewing, and it'll add to the moment. But if you're just trying to give a message, if you're trying to convince somebody of the reasons why they should go to confession or some type of a topic like this, you want them to feel comfortable, you want them to feel relaxed, you want it to feel natural, you don't want your framing to distract or to make your video look too amateurish. Because we've watched so much television and so much quality web video that we're used to seeing things broken down into this rule of thirds. Even if you might not notice it or you might not have paid attention to it before, when you start to see things that aren't filmed following these guidelines, we start to say, oh, this is amateurish, oh, you know, this isn't done well. So we want to make sure that we, to the best of our ability, follow the rule of thirds, and not only that, but we also want to give lead room.